Hi, this is Pam Holt with Inside B&B. This is Tales Live, and today I have two guests. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties last week, so I wasn't able to bring you co-hosting expert Stacy Taylor. But today she's going to join us right after we speak with host Maggie Perez. Maggie's going to join us from Washington. She has a fabulous place that she is hosting, and I can't wait to bring her on. So she's going to tell us about her hosting style and give us kind of a tour of her place, let us know how long she's been in the business, and some of her tips for those of you who are considering hosting. So let me find Maggie and bring her in. Let's see. There, that should be it. Maggie, are you there? Oh, we're connecting. Hi!
Hi, Pam.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me and inviting me.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear about your space. It's so beautiful. You've done such a nice job. I can't believe, I know a little bit about your backstory. I can't believe you've only been in business for a short amount of time. Everything looks so professional,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
beautiful, so gorgeous.
thank
So
you.
tell us how you got started.
It's kind of a long story, but just to shorten it out a little bit, we used to live here. When I got married, we rented a home for a couple of years, and we run a landscape construction company.
Okay.
And actually, there in Selah Vivenda, we have it all in the details. We have our landscape business in the back, actually.
Okay.
So it's in a lower area, and we park the trucks there, the equipment. But we moved there after renovating it. And we lived there for about 5 years.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, we ended up purchasing another home after renovating this one as well.
Okay.
But we just didn't want to obviously let it go because we have our company that runs there. We actually have an office there as well. And
Okay.
so we just said, what else can we do? And since we've used Airbnb a lot in the past, when we travel, we said, let's try it out. And
Ah,
so
perfect. Perfect.
we
Okay,
did.
let's start from the beginning. You rent the entire space, so it's a house. How
Yes, it's
many
a house.
bedrooms?
It's
How
a
many
two
bedrooms?
bedroom, two
Okay.
bedrooms, two bath.
It's so adorable. I look at the
Oh,
pictures and
thank you.
I see the two little chairs out front. I wish that I was sitting in one with my iced tea and just looking at
Yes.
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we have a porch swing too, and that's always fun.
I love it. I love it. So you started last fall?
Yeah, October 6th, actually, where our first guest stayed there. So
Okay.
October 6th of 2019.
Okay. So how's
But
it been so far?
it has been great. I've loved it. Of course, it has its ups and downs, like you hear and like we all go through. But for the majority of the part, I've been loving it. We've been enjoying it, having people. It just feels good to know somebody wants to stay here, whatever the reason.
It's
Maybe we're not the first choice or anything, but it just feels nice just to know they chose
Oh,
to stay
you be my
there.
first choice. It's gorgeous. Now,
Thank
this
you.
is a difficult time for hosts, especially for someone to just start out. It's not always like this, let me assure you. It could be really nice and a lot more consistent than it has been this year for obvious reasons. But when you were preparing your space for guests, what were some of the things that you had to do to switch it over from a residence to a space where you host guests?
Well, where we're at now. Um, but we had a couple of months just to know that we were going to turn this into a short-term rental. So little by little, we started purchasing things, purchasing here and there. And my kids had a bunk bed, so we had to get rid of that. Bring in new furniture, just because, just the different people are going to want to stay. Just with different things that we put in. And we ended up changing a lot of the things. The only thing
Okay.
that pretty much stayed was our bed, in which we actually bought a new mattress for, and the sofas. Other than that, we
Oh,
just did everything different.
you started from scratch. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how did you know that your area would be an attractive place for folks to come and stay?
Well, we live in just such a wonderful, wonderful area. Wenatchee is just a community of about 35,000 people, and we're in a valley. But there's so much to do around here. We have a little that I've spoken about, a little
Hmm.
village called Leavenworth, and it's a little Bavarian village, and it's so cute, and
It's
it
so
brings
cute. It's so cute.
yes, and it just brings people in December. It gets packed. We hosted somebody from New York City.
Mm.
People travel all over the country just to come to this little village. We also have Lake Chelan that right now people are coming to visit. We have Mission Ridge, which is a ski resort as well, ski area.
Oh, nice.
So it just brings a lot of people to
Okay,
our
so
community, to
you're
our
year
valley.
round then. You have guests all year for skiing and then summer activities, and so your season's the whole year. That's
Yes,
fantastic. That's
yes. I think the
fantastic.
slower one so far was just November slower. And then obviously, just when the virus hit, we slowed down for a while until summer came.
Okay, and then did you
Yeah.
pick up again?
Oh, yes, yes. I
Really?
feel
That's
like,
great.
yeah, we have been booked. And I feel like a lot of people just want to go to Leavenworth because there's some beautiful areas to hike that even I haven't
Oh,
been. I've lived here all my life since I was two, and I haven't even been there. But I've had people just 2 weeks ago that said, we're going to stay here just so we can go do that hike. So there's people that come for that, and then people that are just coming um, to visit Chelan. And then we don't live by, but 2.5 hours away is Seattle. And
okay. Okay.
Seattle is colder than here, rainy, and so we've had a lot of guests that just come just for a different
Just
scenery.
a change of pace.
Yes,
Get out of
just
the
to
rain.
yes, our couple guests back, they're just like, we just want to go tanning in your yard, and that's all. So they
Nice.
just
It's the simple things these days.
yes, she's like, we're from the Seattle area, we just need some sunshine. I was like,
Nice.
okay, yeah,
Nice. That's a good hook. You should use that.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you say is your hosting style?
Style,
Are you hands-on? Are you there greeting the guests? Do you know, take sort of a laid-back approach and let them do their thing, or how do
I
you
kind
manage
of
it?
I'm very hands-on. I actually have a wonderful, wonderful friend that helps us with the cleaning. Just because I have three little ones that I'm just not able to go, and I would just have to rely a lot on my best friend. My sister can watch the kids. So I have her helping, but other than that, I'm very hands-on. You see me going there always before a guest check-in. I need to go there just to make sure everything's the way I want it. I
Hmm.
sometimes move a little pillow here, fluff something here, little
Yes, you've got that
details.
host disease. I know. I
Yes,
know that
yes.
too. Yes, I have
And
that
it can
too.
be so dangerous because uh,
I
but it's
know.
great. So I do the communication with them, but I always give them their space. Sometimes I've been there where I travel and I just want to be here and I just want to enjoy. And so I'm not bombarding them,
Mm,
but I also like checking in on them the night after, the morning of, how's your stay going?
nice.
Is there anything that you need? Just let me know. Just so
Hmm.
they know that I'm just here in case they need anything. And
Do you
some
check on
people,
them in person, or is it a text or an email?
no.
How do you contact them?
Just a message. I've only met two guests, and one
Okay.
was totally by accident. I ran into her.
Oh,
Another
okay.
one, the ones that came tanning,
Oh.
I had to go drop off something. They wanted a little bit of a later check-in. I'm like, oh, that's totally fine. I'm just not going to be here to leave my friend who's going to clean something. Just don't mind me. I'm just going to drop it off and run. She's like, well, come meet us. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, nice. That's
So
nice.
yeah, I went to go do that, and that was fun
Good, good,
to
good.
get to meet them.
So I've looked at your Instagram account. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
The photos are lovely. The way that you display your testimonials and your reviews, that's really quite nice. And
Yes.
is that your main marketing platform, or how else do you market to your guests?
For now, yes.
Hmm.
And I wasn't planning on getting an Instagram. I just heard, hey, why not? And I've heard some people recommend it. I'm like, let me try. So I think I started, what was it, in February? And I
Oh,
started
wow.
posting a little bit and a little bit. But then when the pandemic hit, I honestly just felt like, how can I be promoting us still? Come stay with us. You know, before I didn't understand so much. So I stopped posting for a long time until Lace from Mint STR Hosting reached out to me, say, hey,
Who we
what's
love.
going on?
Hi,
Yeah.
Lace.
Yes. Oh, yes, I do.
She's
Lace for
wonderful.
a
She was
guest.
on last week. We recommend her and her company. Check her out. She's on Instagram as well, Mint STR
Yeah.
Hosting.
Yeah, so she kind of took me under her wing and we worked together and she kind of just um, showed me a little bit how to promote us there. And now
Nice.
I realize, you know, even though throughout the pandemic that we can offer a safe place
Oh,
to
yeah.
have our guests stay, you know, just doing CDC guidelines with all of the cleaning. And I don't think promoting to stay with us is bad, you know, because
No.
no, and before I
Oh,
used to, you know, when I
oh,
first
did
started,
you?
because I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I
Oh,
going
you
to say,
thought
come
that was
stay here?
intrusive or something? You thought it was too
No,
salesy, or
no, I just thought, how can I be telling guests to come stay when right now it's
oh, during the pandemic?
during the pandemic, yes.
I
But
understand.
now I understand people just need a change of scenery. People just
Yes.
need to do something different, and we did it. The end of June, we got our bags, and then we just went on a 4-hour trip to Sandpoint, Idaho, for a much needed just staycation
So,
for us.
yeah, you know how it feels then.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
do you share your cleaning strategy with guests? Do you let them know that you're following CDC guidelines,
we
and do you make
do.
that part of your marketing?
Yes, we have it in our listing, and then when I send them their welcome message 2 days prior to their arrival, I just let them know that we're taking extra precautions, just want to give you guys the best and the best that we can do cleaning wise and sanitation wise for your stay.
And have you found people to have extra questions for you, or are they satisfied with what you're giving them?
I think at the beginning, before I actually listed anything about it, I was getting questions about it. Just, are you still hosting during this time? Or I'm just looking for a very clean place to stay.
Yes.
And, you know, and so I realized people are wanting to look for places that are safe right now. And so that helped me learn that they want that communication.
Yeah, I think guests want to hear from hosts what they're doing, what protocols they have in place, and it's important. They want to know.
Yes, it
Good,
is.
good, good. So let's see. It's not quite a year for you, but what kinds of tips would you give to those who are considering hosting?
Um, just we can do the best we can. We can give it all we can, and our expectations sometimes are very high with everything always being good, perfect with each guest. But there's gonna be lows, and my just best advice is just to be prepared for those times, because otherwise, you know, it'll just really hit us and just maybe discourage us.
Yes.
But not you won't always have certain experiences like that. And like I mentioned, the majority of our experiences have been wonderful and we've loved it. So
And I'm sure your
yeah.
guests have loved it. You'd be surprised how pleased guests are when they know you're making an effort. I
Yes.
think they really are supportive when they know that you're trying your best. So I think
Yes.
that's important. Um,
Yes.
what's the most awkward situation you had as a host? Have you had
Most
any bad surprises? I have. I have.
bad surprises? Yes. I've been that host where there's been a party thrown in my house without me knowing.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like,
What
and
did you
it's,
do about that?
well, it was actually someone who lived around the area and just let us know that they just needed a place to come stay. They were going to get their home painted. And I was like, yes, yes, no
Uh,
worries. And it was in April during the, you know,
oh,
the
right in the middle
stay
of
home
things.
order. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, no worries, you know, because I'm available. But I don't know why we since we have the business, we have cameras, and my husband just before it was almost midnight, I think, and he just quickly just checked the cameras and he saw a glow, and we're like, "What is going on?"
Not a
So we
glow.
kind of like what's happening over there? And they were doing a bonfire, and so I was
They were
like,
having a
"What's
nice
going
party,
on?"
huh?
Yes, and so the only cameras we have just shows us the parking, and so
Okay.
we saw a ton of cars. And we're like, oh goodness. So I messaged, I was like, do I message? Do I not? Because I'm the kind of person that doesn't like a lot of confrontation, but it's our business and it's our home.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I,
So do you have a no party policy, or do you just have that, did you
I
just have that in place because of the
no,
pandemic?
we've always had no party policy, no extra guest. And when I reached out to her, she was so nice. And she was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I honestly didn't read those
Oh.
rules. And
Ah.
so, and so it was a little awkward because how do I say it nicely without her feeling like I'm coming down on her, just out of respect. I'm like, oh, if it would be, I just spoke to her and I just said, we just don't allow parties and extra guests, especially right now during a pandemic. We don't want to be really involved with this kind of thing. So it's just a long story, but after that, I just included some of our rules in the welcome
Okay.
message,
Good. Good.
just so that's helped. And a lot of people just say, because sometimes we just rush through reading things, and maybe this is a little bit of a help for people to read. So that was
So
a
you
little
learned,
awkward.
huh?
I think, yes, I
Yeah.
learned.
Was that just a one night stay, or were they there for longer than that?
They were there for the weekend, so
Oh, were
Friday
they? Okay.
through Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. So I see that a lot, of course, when people allowed or used to at least, allow the one night stays. That was a dead giveaway or should be for hosts. That's probably going to be a party, especially if you have a
Yeah.
large space.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so I discontinued the one night stays a long time ago because the parties can, for so many reasons, obviously, can just wreak havoc on a host's world, and you want to try to
Yeah.
avoid that. So,
Yes.
what do you think is the most important thing you've learned in this almost year of hosting?
Well, I've just learned that everybody has a different reason for wanting to stay at your home. And I kind of shared a little bit about this in one of my posts, but some people just really just need a place to stay real quick or whatever. But other people are just, especially during the pandemic, I feel like they just need a change of scenery with their family. I had a father-son getaway that they
Oh,
don't
nice.
they don't live together, so they just came here just to enjoy each other. I've had a mom one time that took her son, and she shared this with me, that wasn't doing too great, and they just needed to get away from when they were where they were and just come here and just have time together.
That's nice.
Yes, it's just been really wonderful, wonderful stories that I've seen, and that have just really blessed my heart. And it
That's
just brings
nice.
me such joy for
Yeah, no,
what
you
we are doing.
kind of gave me goosebumps with that one. That's very sweet. I understand that
Yeah.
completely. Yeah.
And if I could share a little bit about that
Yes.
experience with the mom, this is when we first started hosting, and I used to do the cleaning. And like I shared in one of our posts, I would pray for our space, because that's us, where, our faith is really important for us. And I would pray for it and say, Lord, anybody who comes here, may they feel blessed. May they just find whatever they need. And as I was cleaning that day, I remember I was making the bed. I was like, whoever sleeps here, God, let them just have a sense of peace, sense of belonging. And we share a little bit in our welcome book, a little bit about, who we are and how faith is important to us. And this mom reached out to me. She messaged me. She's like, I'm crying right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she just said, she lived like about 2 hours away, and she said, I was praying. She told me, I was praying and seeing where the Lord can take us, because we just needed this time with me and my son, because he's going through some stuff. And she said, I was just praying to see where we could go, and I found your space, and we went there. So to me, I was like, Lord,
Wow.
wow, you're so good, because my prayer was connected to her
Wow.
prayer. And I
Nice.
just thought today, I think that's just one of my biggest just joys that I've experienced as
That's
a
a fabulous
host.
story. No, that's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
So, who would you say is your ideal guest?
Well, I've learned that I guess we promote more for adult getaways,
Okay.
and we've.
Is that because of the size of your space or your location or just your preference as a host or?
I think just how we set it up.
Okay.
I feel like it attracts more adults because we hardly host kids,
Yes.
but we've had a lot of girls getaways, just two different couples just going to hang out, just getting some time away from the kids. I got a message a while back saying, oh, just us and some friends just need time as parents, just away from the kids, get some time to enjoy. So our ideal guests would just be anybody who's just wanting to come to our home and just see the photos and say, yes, I want to be one of those people that just want to come enjoy the space. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm real big on identifying the ideal guest because I think all of your marketing and all of your messaging and all of your everything, your decor, everything revolves around that guest. So even though you said everybody, what I heard you say is you want adults who are looking for a getaway, maybe some privacy, some downtime. It's not a big party thing at your space, and that's a specific avatar, and that's great because now when you do, and you have in your Instagram, you've done your marketing. It's a very sophisticated look. It doesn't look like a bunch of college
Yeah.
kids coming together and having some big frat party. It doesn't look like that. It wouldn't attract that type of person, I don't think. And so I think through your everything from your logo to your color scheme to the messages that you post, you are talking to those people. So that's great. I want to congratulate you on everything you've done.
Thank
And
you.
I
Which
want to
we,
say, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, which we also love hosting families. I just had a really nice couple just leave, and they just had a 2-year-old, and I was like, oh, I need some more kid stuff there. So we love either
Oh
way.
no!
I just,
When
yeah,
I tell people about their ideal guest, they don't have to just have one. You could
yeah,
have more than one ideal kind of guest. But when you're doing your marketing, you want to go for. I suggest at least go for that main ideal persons,
yes,
because
yep.
that's who you need to direct everything toward. And I just want to invite anybody who hasn't seen your account to take a look. You get to see some of her
Oop,
work. Uh-oh, that's okay. There you
there.
go.
Sorry, I don't know what I
And
did.
you get to see some of the spaces, and you get to see the cool little town. What's the town called? Is that Leavenworth?
We're in Wenatchee.
Okay. What's the little town, the
Leavenworth?
Bavarian town? Is that it, Leavenworth? Okay.
Leavenworth, yeah.
So you get to see that in some of your pictures, and I'm happy to say we get to see you. You've come out from behind the hosting veil, which I
I
know a lot of
have.
people, have a hard time, including myself. This is all I can do to show up and do this every week, but I think it's great
Yeah.
for hosts to come out and be seen and share their stories and share their personalities. I think that that actually will attract guests to you because they will respond to something that you're saying or something that you've talked about, like your space and your stories. And I think that's important, and hosts should do it more often. And so I'm hoping that more hosts will come on and talk about their spaces, and and um, and we can all get to know each other. So,
Yeah.
how can hosts and guests and anyone who wants to be in touch with you contact you?
They can just send me a DM. I'm very easily reached. I actually love that hosting community. My children are knocking on the door. Sorry, they're with the
That's
neighbors
okay.
right now, and I'm like,
That's okay. That's
um,
okay.
yeah, they can just DM me. I'm really easily reachable, and that's what I've loved about this community. That if anybody has questions or if I'm reachable, if somebody wants to reach somebody, I've just sent them a message, and yeah, that's how we are creating relationships in this
Yes.
platform with other hosts,
Yes.
and
And I
it's
hope that we can
yeah,
continue. Yeah, I think it's great. It's you can be kind of in your own world as a host, but if you get a chance to talk to other people and see how they're doing it, I think it makes the hosting experience even more
yeah,
full than it already is. So
yeah.
I
I've
want
been
to say
learning so
thank you.
much. Thank
Thanks so much
you.
for joining me. I know you were a little
Yeah.
hesitant. You did
Yes,
fabulous.
I'm like, but thank you
No,
for. I know that's one of my favorite things about Instagram, meeting the host or who's behind and getting to know them. So I know it's important.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
thank you again,
Thank you,
and
Pam.
we'll stay in touch. I'll see you
Okay.
soon. So for
Thank you.
everybody who's watching now, you give me a second. I'm going to switch over because today we're doing the twofer, and I'm going to bring on Stacy Taylor. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Maggie.
you.
Take care.
Thank you. You
Bye.
too. Bye bye, Pam.